Hello everyone, welcome back to another Magic Maker project for hobby hoppers. Today I'm going to be making this adorable card. At least I hope it's adorable because the way that I film things, I don't actually know what that card looks like yet, but I have a really good feeling about how this one is going to turn out. So this morning I woke up without a single idea of what I was going to make, which is really bad. I usually do have some kind of idea of the products that I'm planning on using, or at least the stamp sets, maybe a color scheme. But today I had none of that, and so I was on Pinterest for a little while looking at what my favorite crafters are doing. And then I took a little stroll around my house and was inspired by a few of the things I have bought for Halloween this year that helped me pick the color scheme for today. So these will be the colors that I am going with. I have 6 Distress Oxide inks here. I might use some more, not inks, but different colors when I use my markers, depending on what I need to color in. The stamps that I'm planning on using today are the Sweet Spiders add-on and of course the big stamp set. I've got Trick or Treat already cut out of some black cardstock. I've got the Fantastic Friends and its add-on as well. As cute as the kitty cats are, I don't think I'll be using them this time. And I dug through my stash and found this very old set because I'm feeling I might need this hat at some point. I decided to go a little bit different with the background today, as you've probably already seen. And I'm using the Spring Blossom stencil set. And I know that might be a little bit unusual, but I thought, who makes the rules anyway? Why can't I use spring flowers on a Halloween card? If you've been out looking at decorations already this year, you've probably seen that a lot of it is pastel, a lot of it is soft colors. There's a lot of flowers involved as well. And not only that, but for those who don't know, I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, so it is spring here, the beginning of spring, and it feels a lot like summer, not gonna lie. It's already very hot, but I figured why not make a card that ticks all the boxes, including representing my own part of the world as well. Okay, now that we've seen everything we're gonna use, let's get started. Okay, so I was getting a little confused with this background and which colors to do with what stencil. So I have settled on the stems and the background bits being yellow. Some of the flowers, the biggest parts of them, will be the pale orange, and then the extra details on the flowers will be this dark orange. So I'm starting with my lightest color first, and then I'm going to work on my way up to the darkest. Here I have some white cardstock cut out with my favorite large stitched rectangle. So this next part isn't too tricky. I'm hoping you can see that there are these little etched leaves here that we've already stenciled. So all you really have to do is line them up as best you can, and the stencil will be ready to use. And so there is our second layer, and I'm loving how this is turning out already. Okay, so there is our background with all 3 layers, and I am loving it. It's kind of got a bit of a candy corn look to it at the moment. It is really, really cute. So just another thing I'm going to do with this is use the excess ink from this mid color here, the dried marigold. And what I'm going to do is just soften up the edges a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more to the center, I'm not sure yet. But as much as I love this background, it is very bright. And I do love that about it, but I feel like it might be just a little too bright for what I'm thinking of. So I am just going to very lightly take this ink and brush it probably around the edges first, and then I'll see where to go from there. There we go. Now, you don't have to love it, but I love it. I love that it has toned that down just a little bit. We still have a really beautiful background. It's just not so bright. I think it'll contrast really well with the black sentiment on it very soon. Okay, I have one final step for this background, and that is to use some of my starry colored watercolors. I'll probably go with one of these two golds. I'm leaning more towards, strangely, the blue gold seems to work really well with oranges. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of this black soot, and I mean like a very, very, very tiny bit. I will use the blue gold first so that I don't get black ink in this watercolor. Well, that will be a very subtle detail, but it will add just a little bit of shimmer to this card when it's moving around. I think I will stop there before I go too far. I'm going to set that aside to dry while we stamp out our little characters. So here I've got all my little characters. I've got a couple of bats and a couple of spiders and some accessories. Now I'm at a point with this card where I am up to colouring, and I've got my pens out and I am looking at my original colour scheme ideas, and that it did have pink in it. And I'm really starting to think, should I colour some of these bats pink? I don't know if that would maybe be risky and not suit the colour scheme. I'm a little hesitant to do it. Should I just do them grey? I'm pretty sure they would look great grey. Oh, I'm just so confused. I'm looking at my notebook here. That was one of the color scheme inspirations that I had earlier. And I'm looking at it thinking like pink goes really well with these. Maybe I can color these bats in pale pink. I think I'm going to give it a go. I can always restamp them if I don't like the way it looks. But I'm also pressed for time. So I don't know if I can do a full recolor. I think I'm just going to go with pink. I'm going to be risky. I'm going to do it. You've seen the card at the end. I'm sure it looks fine. Okay, so let's just give it a go. I'm going to go with this pink because this one is dying a little bit. It's on its way out. I'm not sure if I have a rinker for it either, but I will use this for the cheeks. I will use this for their main color. I'll use that for the shadows as well. And then I will use light grays to color the rest of the spiders and the hats and things. I think they will look cute with, you know, dark grey, blackish looking hats with some orange stripes on them. The candy corns will still tie everything in as well. I might bring you a little bit closer while I color in. Having a look at his coloured in ear there, I think I might remove that as much as I can. I'm actually not a very big fan of the way that looks. So what I'm going to do is use my colourless blender, and I am just going to lighten that up a whole lot. Maybe it'll look better lightened up and I can do it on the other side. Maybe that's not so bad, but I just didn't like how that was looking. Everything else though I think is really cute. I think a pink bat might actually work. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing these a little differently, I do always pay attention to which way my characters are facing. So I've got two bats facing that way and one facing the other. And so I've got the shadow where it would kind of be behind them, if that makes sense, so that it's almost like the light is in the middle of the card. So that's why I've got two with the shadows on one side and a shadow on the other. I hope that makes any sense at all. Now I am loving these colors. I think they're turning out really good. I might color the spider or spiders in the same tones, but make this little one's hat a bit darker because she's also going to be grey. Might make it look like she's wearing more of a black hat, I guess. Don't mind my mumbling as I craft. I maybe could have done like a pink hat on this little spider, but I haven't thought of that until right this moment, so it's a little late. It wouldn't blend in so much with her tone there, but I think we're still going to be okay. It's very cute. Now everyone needs cheeks. Doesn't matter that it's a Halloweeny card. Everything gets cute rosy cheeks, even these little spiders. Okay, these are now ready for white highlights. So today I'm using my 08 and my 05 because I have some very, very little details here to add highlights to. And just as I did with the colouring, I do try to take into account where the light would be. And that's why you'll see I don't have white highlights everywhere. I tend to do a line where the light would shine on them and a few dots where some shadows would be. I don't know why, it's just something that I started a long time ago and I've stuck with it. And I think it works really well. This little guy's eyes are open, so I'm going to make his eyes nice and shiny. I might add some white to their teeth too, just to brighten them up. With this little guy facing the other way, the white highlights will be on the other side. For these itty bitty ones, I'm using this other jelly roll pen because they are just so small. Adding little shiny eyes to this guy just makes him look so cute and happy. Okay, there we go. Everything has highlights now, and I'm going to fussy cut them out and get them ready to stick on our card front. Okay, how cute are these little critters looking? They are so adorable. Now I'm going to get started on the card front itself. So what I'm going to do first is use some double-sided tape on the back of our background so that it's ready to stick to our card base. I like to get this done before I go adding the front and before I start adding dimensions so that I'm not pushing down on all of the work that we're about to do. Next, I'm going to add our trick or treat to the center, and I'm going to stick it down flat in the middle and probably add dimension to my little characters instead. Once it is stuck down, however, I will use my jelly roll pen to add some highlight to it just so that it, I guess, follows all the other rules that I use with my coloring and my dimension. I really love the bold black on that really cute background. I feel like that was a really good choice of color with those flowers. Now I'm going to use my size 8 just to add those highlights really quick. Okay, I feel like that is looking even cuter than it was before. Now I'm going to add some dimension to these little characters, work out my placement, and then I'm going to show you what I settled on. Okay, so what I like to do before I assemble my card front is to set up all the little bits and pieces that I need. So I know I want my little bats to be wearing hats, so I'm going to stick them on now so that I don't have to do it later, and I can then, I guess, play around with the full picture. Oh, see, I started gluing and I got distracted and trailed off. This is just so that I know exactly what I'm working with when I'm trying to stick it down, and I can account for all the space that things like the hats take up. Off I go again. I think I like the way their little ears sit like that. What I am going to do with this little guy though is remove the backing for that sticky piece that I've stuck on, and I'm going to put the little candy bucket there straight away because that's what I'm aiming for. And oh my gosh, is he cute or what? He is very cute. I might need to get a picture of him before I stick everything down. Now I'm only using just a tiny little bit of PVA glue here. It's really all that these need. I might cover one ear on this little guy. I think that's pretty cute. And another thing that I wanted to do was add some little candy corns maybe on their hats. I was thinking of doing flowers before just to tie in with the background, but I thought so long as I'm doing the same colors, it should still look very cute. So what I'm going to do is just pop a dot of glue. I really should be using my tweezers. And then what I'm going to do is just very carefully stick this down. Carefully, Steph. I think that's a little bit cute. This little guy will probably be holding some of the lollies, so I'll just wait and see where to stick him down, whether I do some around him, behind him. I'll work that out in a minute, but I really did want to add just a few of these to their little hats. I might leave this guy though because he's already got the candy bucket, and I think that might be enough. Okay, they're so cute. I'm just obsessed with these bats. They're adorable. Okay, we are now in the final stages of this card. So what I'm going to do is probably just remove the backing from all of these little characters and then start playing with their placement. Now, as I mentioned, I am going to add some little lollies and candies around that guy, but I'll do that in just a minute. He doesn't have a lot of the foam squares behind him, so I can sneak some in the space at the back. This guy is absolutely my favorite. He is just so cute. I'm just trying to see where he will fit, where it won't be so... I mean, that is very cute too, but we're not doing that. Or are we? No, I feel like it's a little odd. I'm actually wondering if I can pull this up a little bit. I can. And maybe... I just worry that I am overtaking that letter too much if I put him in front. I wonder if that looks okay. I feel like that looks pretty okay. I'm thinking I might move this little guy though. Oh no, he's very stuck down. He's not going anywhere. That's okay. For this little one though, I'm thinking maybe in the middle. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'm 100% happy with where this one is. I'm doing the terrifying job of removing it from my pretty background. It hasn't been stuck on for very long, so there is a chance it'll be totally fine, but it is always just a risk. I'm wondering if I just play with the placement a little bit. I feel like it was too boxy at the top. Feeling like that's a little nicer. My poor background can only take so much. I feel like that's almost exactly where I had him just a second ago. And now I'm thinking I want to move the top one to be more centered, but I think I'm just going to have to deal with that. If you can see what I mean, I feel like it looks a little better, and then maybe we can just put it on top there. I feel like I like the idea of them being bunched up a little more rather than, I don't know, I guess skirting the edges. You can still see that it says trick or treat. I do think I like that a little better. We'll go with that. Now I did promise this little guy some candy, so I'll pop that down with him. Maybe some of the candy corn behind him. I do love that. And then I just think, yeah, maybe some scattered around will be enough to fill in the gaps. Okay, now it's time to flip this over, pull off the backing tape and adhere it to a card base. And while I'm doing this, I realize that I haven't even talked about Hobby Hoppers this whole time. I've been so busy in my own head with my colouring and my assembling. Hobby Hoppers is an online Aussie business, and I am a magic maker for this amazing little brand. What that means is I get to show off the products and have a lot of fun crafting as I do so. Hobby Hoppers stocks all the latest Lawn Fawn releases, and that's where I get all of mine from, as well as a whole heap of other crafty supplies. I will leave the link to the online store and everything that I've used today in the description box below so that you can grab them for yourself. Or just check out the huge range of amazing washi tapes that Trish stocks in the store. As you can see, I'm having no luck with this background. I think maybe I haven't cut my card base to the correct size. It's always a human error, not a card error, I guess. I think that might be good enough. Okay, there we go. That is today's project. I hope you like it. I'll leave some nice pictures of it. I'd love to know in the comments what you thought about the pink bats. Do you think that they worked? I, for one, love them. I think pink was an unusual choice, but it worked in my favour for this one. I will see you in the next spooky project next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.